Hi guys, myself Pranab is here to deliver today's presentation, Power Transformer Part 2. As the subject is of the continuation, so for your convenience, the link of the previous one is given under the description box. Circuit parameters of short circuit test. Transformer's secondary winding, that is in the LV side, is short circuited. Primary winding HV side is connected to a fairly low voltage source through variac. The input voltage is adjusted until the current in the short circuited windings is equal to its rated value. That voltage is called short circuit voltage. Input voltage, input current, and input power to the transformer are measured. The short circuit test should always be conducted on the LV side short circuited, as because one, at rated voltage, the short circuited LV side having with low resistance will draw a huge current. Number two, to restrict the high current in the short circuited LV side, a low voltage typically of the order of 5 to 10% of the rated voltage through variac is applied to the HV side, which is just enough to produce the rated current to flow in both the windings of HV side and short circuited LV side. So for the rated flow, the voltage applied to the HV winding is very low, which results a low flux level in the core. Again, I repeat, so for the rated current flow, the voltage applied to the HV winding is very low, which results a low flux level in the core. That will indicate that the core loss at low voltage is also negligible, as it is a function of voltage. Moreover, the no-load shunt branch is considered as absent, as the core loss current component IE is absent. Therefore, total power consumed as recorded at the wattmeter will be no other than the full load copper losses of the corresponding transformer. From the test results, an equivalent circuit that can be framed by the determining the series branch parameters. One, equivalent resistance referred to HV side R01 is equal to WSC divided by ISC square. Equivalent impedance referred to HV side Z01 equals to VSC divided by ISC. Equivalent leakage reactance referred to HV side X01 equals to root over Z01 square minus R01 square. Short circuit power factor cos phi SC equals to WSC divided by VSC ISC. Then the equivalent circuit is obtained in figure 8. That is ISC R equivalent X equivalent from open circuit test, shunt branch parameters IC, that is core loss component, and IM is the magnetizing component for as referred to the LV side. From short circuit test, series branch parameters R equivalent and X equivalent are referred to HV side. Again, I repeat, from open circuit test, shunt branch parameters IC and IM are referred to the LV side. From short circuit test, series branch parameters R equivalent and X equivalent are referred to HV side. Short circuit characteristics. When one of the transformer windings is short circuited and a voltage is applied to the other, the transformer is said to be operating on a short circuit condition. So, any occurrence of short circuit during full load operation of the transformer at the rated voltages, the short circuit current in the windings will shoot up, exceeding the rated ones 10 to 15 times more. Under such condition, abnormally high mechanical stresses would have been developed in the windings with the rise of temperature. The consequences are therefore dependent on time, how long the short circuit current is allowed to flow. Operation of the transformer on a short circuit condition is extremely harmful, and as a preventive measure, a special protecting device must have to be installed for instantaneous switching of the transformer. Short circuit test helps to determine the value of short circuit voltage, which is one of the most basic transformer characteristics. Excitation current, IE, is negligible since the input voltage is very low. Thus, the voltage drop in the excitation branch can be ignored. All the voltage drop can be attributed to the series elements in the circuit, that is figure 8. The short circuit voltage VSH of a transformer is usually expressed as a percentage of the rated primary voltage V1. VSH percentage equals to VSH by V1 into 100. The short circuit voltage VSH percentage is a very important operating phenomenon, as because the value of which will be the overall voltage decrease of a transformer during rated loading. Again, I repeat, the short circuit voltage VSH percentage is a very important operating phenomenon, as because the value of which will be the overall voltage decrease of a transformer during rated loading. The equality of the short circuit voltages of transformers is one of the conditions requisite for their possible parallel operation. VSH percentage is always to be indicated on the rating plate of each transformer. Number 3, the higher the VSH percentage, the less the danger that the windings will be damaged by the mechanical forces developing under short circuit emergency conditions. Again, I repeat the 3 points. The equality of the short circuit voltages of the transformers is one of the conditions requisite for their possible parallel operation. VSH percentage is always to be indicated on the rating plate of each transformer. The higher the VSH percentage, the less the danger that the windings will be damaged by the mechanical forces developing under short circuit emergency conditions. But short circuit voltage should not exceed a certain value, as an inadmissibly high reactance voltage drop across the secondary winding due to the high inductive reactance caused by the leakage fluxes would reduce the secondary voltage and consequently some loss of useful power available to the consumers. In addition, the leakage fluxes having their paths partly in the metal components of the transformer cause extra eddy current and hysteresis losses, also known as stray losses, which reduce the efficiency of the transformer. Again, I repeat, in addition, the leakage fluxes having their paths partly in the metal components of the transformer cause extra eddy current and hysteresis losses, also known as stray losses, which reduce the efficiency of the transformer. When designing a transformer, the magnitude of the short circuit voltage has to be selected in such a value so as to make the transformer mechanically and thermally strong, having the maximum possible efficiency. That is, to strike the balance between these two conflicting requirements. Reasons for which transformers are rated in VA, kVA, and or MVA. Number one, copper loss, I square R loss of a transformer is directly influenced by current. Number two, iron loss has to depend on voltage. That is, W0 is equal to V1 IE cos phi 0. Thus, total transformer loss is then to be evolved on volt ampere. So it does not have a response on phase angle between the voltage and current. That is, transformer loss is rather independent of load power factor. These are the reasons for which the rating of transformers are being excelled in VA, kVA, or MVA. Characteristics of the loaded transformer. While the transformer is operating under load, as the primary winding is electromagnetically linked with the secondary, the flow of current in the loaded secondary winding will automatically change the current in the primary winding, since magnetomotive force in any electromagnetic system are always be in equilibrium. By analogy with the law of equilibrium of electromotive force, a magnetomotive force acting in a magnetic circuit is always be equalized by the counter magnetomotive force of this circuit. Again, I repeat, by analogy with the law of equilibrium of electromotive forces, a magnetomotive force acting in a magnetic circuit is always be equalized by the counter magnetomotive force of this circuit. Operating under load, the current in primary winding is the vector sum of no load current, that is IE, excitation current, and the additional supply current I-2, that due to transformer secondary side loading. The load component current I-2 is the current flowing in the primary of the transformer as corresponds to the secondary current I2. Under no load condition, the primary magnetomotive force IEN1 is consumed mainly in producing the main magnetic flux in the core. Under load condition, the primary magnetomotive force I1N1 must equalize the secondary magnetomotive force I2N2 as due to load current, which has the opposite direction and also has to provide for magnetomotive force IEN1 in producing the main magnetic flux in the magnetic circuit, that is magnetic core. Again, I repeat, under load condition, the primary magnetomotive force I1N1 must equalize the secondary magnetomotive force I2N2 as due to load current, which has the opposite direction and also has to provide for magnetomotive force IEN1 in producing the main magnetic flux in the magnetic circuit, that is in the core. The primary and secondary leakage fluxes may be disregarded because both are very weak in comparison with the main flux, that is I1N1 equals to I2N2 plus IEN1. As the current is the vector quantity. So the addition is a vector sum. Both the iron and copper losses, that is no load and load losses, will occur during the normal operation of the transformer under load, and the value would be considered for determining its efficiency. Transformers have a fairly high efficiency, which ranges from 98.5 to 99.3% and above, depending on the rated capacity and load. Relationship between the voltage, current, and number of turns in a transformer. In case 1, power in primary side equals to power in secondary side. So V1 I1 equals to V2 I2. Therefore, V1 by V2 equals to I2 by I1. In case 2, relationships between number of turns in the primary and secondary and the current through the windings. That is I1 N1 equals to I2 N2. Therefore, N1 N2 equals to I2 by N1, I2 by I1. For case 1 and case 2, N1 by N2 equals to V1 by V2 equals to I2 by I1. As from the relation, the current is inversely proportional to both the voltage and the number of turns. Further to be concluded that with load at transformer secondary side, and if its voltage is stepped up, then in order to maintain a balanced power level across the primary and secondary windings, the current level at the secondary winding would automatically be stepped down and vice versa. That is, higher the voltage, lower the current, or lower the voltage, higher the current. Equivalent circuit and phasor diagram of transformer on load, that is with winding resistance and leakage reactance. As from the diagram, transformer primary winding resistance is R1 and reactance is X1, for which the corresponding voltage drop and reactance drop will be I1 R1 and I1 X1 respectively. Transformer secondary winding resistance is R2 and reactance is X2, for which the corresponding voltage drop and reactance drop will be I2 R2 and I2 X2 respectively. The ohmic losses for primary and secondary windings will be I1 square R1 and I2 square R2. Case 1, based on purely resistive circuit. Due to supply voltage V1, the current I1 flows through the primary, and for which electromotive force is induced in the primary, then voltage across the primary winding will be U1 equals to V1 minus I1 R1. When the current I2 flows through the secondary winding, as because of the imposed voltage E2, and for which electromotive force is induced in the secondary winding, then voltage across the load will be V2 equals to E2 minus I2 R2. As all are vector quantity, so the required subtraction for both equation 1 and 2 should be done vectorially. As the drops are purely resistive, so both are in phase with respective currents. Case number 2, based on reactance drop. A transformer, while connected an electrical load at its secondary winding, and whenever the load has just crossed just above 0, then a current starts flowing in the secondary winding and get going to the load. This secondary current is evolved as due to the induced secondary voltage. This induced secondary voltage is imposed by the magnetic flux, which is rather created in the core with the influence of the primary current. So the secondary current I2 is thereby determined by the characteristics of the load itself. However, the secondary current I2 has to initiate a self-induced secondary magnetic field phi s in the core, which flows exactly in the opposite direction of the magnetic field phi p as produced due to main primary current. Therefore, both the magnetic field phi p and phi s are opposing each other. From this sort of phenomenon, it is concluded that the transformer, while on load, will be of a combined magnetic field of less magnetic strength than the single field as produced only by the primary winding when its secondary circuit is in open circuited condition. Points is very important. From this sort of phenomena, it is concluded that the transformer, while on load, will be of a combined magnetic field of less magnetic strength than the single field as produced only by the primary winding when its secondary circuit is in open circuited condition. As the combined magnetic field has evolved to cut down the back EMF of the primary winding, causing a certain increase of the primary current. As the combined magnetic field has evolved to cut down the back EMF of the primary winding, causing a certain increase of the primary current. The primary current continues to increase until the magnetic field at the core has regained its original strength. The strength of the magnetic field between the primary and secondary must always be in a balanced condition so as to maintain the power as a continuous basis on both the primary and secondary sides, keeping a state of condition balanced. The flux as generated has two components. One, major portion of which is the mutual flux that links both primary and secondary windings. Number two, a fractional portion of the flux called as leakage flux that completes the path through the air and links quite exclusively with the respective windings only. The primary and secondary windings of a transformer possess both resistance and reactance. Resulting from the leakage flux, the inductance drop of both the windings are called the leakage reactance drop. So, the primary leakage flux as produced by the current I1 will have to link only with primary winding, resulting an amount of self-induced EMF. Similarly, the secondary leakage flux as produced by the current I2 will thereby have only to link with secondary winding, resulting an amount of self-induced EMF. Moreover, as to create E1 in the primary winding, the supply voltage V1 has to overcome the primary side self-induced EMF that produced due to leakage flux. Likewise, to create the secondary terminal voltage V2, the induced EMF E2 has to overcome the secondary side self-induced EMF as produced due to leakage flux. Self-induced EMFs due to leakage fluxes as linked with primary and secondary windings are evolved to have the reactance drop of the corresponding windings with the value I1x1 and I2x2. So, in combination of equation 1 and 2, the basic voltage equations of the transformer E1 equals to V1 minus I1 R1 minus J I1 X1. V2 equals to E2 minus I2 R2 minus J I2 X2, or E2 equals to V2 plus I2 R2 plus J I2 X2. Figure 10 is then to be drawn based on the effects of the winding resistance, reactance, and corresponding leakage reactance of both primary and secondary. We have already concluded that no load primary current acts as an excitation current IE, which is responsible to maintain the mutual flux in the transformer core and then helps to determine the value of corresponding core losses. So, based on the transformer no load and load characteristics, an equivalent circuit diagram can also be drawn, that is in figure 11. You see the excitation current is divided into two, that is, one is core loss component, another is magnetizing component, that is in the primary side. Secondary side is connected with load. This is the phasor diagram of transformer operating with load. From the phasor diagram, figure 12, the load component current I-2 is the current flowing in the primary of the transformer corresponds to the secondary current I2. This load component current I-2 is just have the opposite phase of the secondary current I2. As shown in figure 11, no load excitation current IE is composed of both magnetizing component IM and core loss component IC, and is lagging the supply voltage V1 by an angle phi 0. Hence, the total current flowing in the primary I1 is a phasor sum of I-2 and IE, and is lagging the supply voltage V1 by an angle phi 1. Primary side induced electromotive force, that is minus E1, is leading the main flux phi by 90 degrees. The primary winding resistance drop I1 R1 is in phase with I1, and leakage drop I1 X1 is leading as corresponds to I1 by 90 degrees. Supply voltage V1 is the summation of minus E1 and respective drops I1 R1 and I1 X1. The secondary current I2 lags the voltage across the load V2 by an angle phi 2. Therefore, power factor of the load is cos phi 2. The secondary side drop I2 R2 is in phase with secondary current I2, whereas I2 X2 drop leads by 90 degree. With reference to the secondary current I2, so the induced secondary EMF E2 will be the vector sum of these drops to V2, as referred to equation number 5. Points to be noted: the corresponding load component MMF I2-N1 has always to balance the secondary magnetomotive force I2-N2 so as to make the net flux be constant in the transformer while on load. Number 2, that is the reason for which transformer is called as a constant flux machine. When the core is subjected to the alternating magnetic flux, eddy current and hysteresis losses take place in the core. Efficiency and performance of a transformer is directly influenced by permeability of the core, that is core permeability, resistance and reactance across the primary and secondary windings. Number 3, inductance drop, which is referred to the leakage reactance resulting from the leakage flux in both windings. Let's stop here. Further to be continued at later stage. Thank you. Thank you for listening the video. Kindly do like, share and subscribe. Your subscriptions would encourage to post more videos. Also, share your comments or feedbacks inside the dedicated comment section. If you have any suggestions or specific topic you want to hear, then let me know in the comment section, please. Thank you. Thank you for patient hearing.